And all doesn't seem well in Nigeria's main lawyers association, the Nigerian Bar Association, amidst worsening infighting within its ranks. The National Executive Committee of the association dissolved the leadership of the NBA section on public interest and development law. A 5-member caretaker committee to oversee its affairs has therefore been appointed to replace the John Ayekpokpo Martins-led leadership of SPIDEL. The NBA NEC also directed the caretaker committee to take steps to terminate all the public interest cases instituted by the sacked SPIDEL leadership, while mandating the committee to investigate the erstwhile leadership to determine those funding the cases. The NBA and SPIDEL have been at loggerheads, with SPIDEL disagreeing with the leadership style of the NBA president Yakubu Meikayu. And Sylvester Edemezue, who is a legal practitioner and lecturer at the Nigerian Law School, joins us now in the studio to shed more light on this development. I mean, what's amiss between SPIDEL and NBA? SPIDEL is just a creation, like a subsection of the Nigerian Bar Association.
Thank you very much. Like you rightly said, but I would like to point out something. You said that the NBA's National Executive Committee dissolved SPIDEL. I mean, there are two arms. There's the National Executive Committee and the National Executive Council. I think it was the National Executive Council that dissolved the leadership of SPIDEL.
Okay, then the National Executive Council.
Executive Council.
Okay.
Yes, that's the second highest organ in the NBA after the annual general meeting. Coming back to what led to, or what may have led to the problems between SPIDEL and NBA leadership. It's all about respect for authority. Okay. Because NBA is one organization, does not have two bodies within the same body. And as an organization, as a corporate body, NBA ought to speak with one voice at all times. And you may have been hearing about the bar has spoken.
Yeah, but now it's a Babel of Tower that we're having, isn't it?
That's what it appears in the eyes of the public, and that is what the leadership of the association is trying to curb. Because if you allow this kind of thing to go out of hand, we might have a situation where tomorrow a branch of the NBA might get up and say, we are no longer part of the NBA. So if you look at the constitution of the NBA, the president is the principal spokesperson of the Nigerian Bar Association. And the constitution gives the president the power or the duty to direct all committees, all sections of the organization, including the NBA-SPIDEL.
Yes, so Sylvester, in a short note, the relationship between the NBA and SPIDEL is not cordial. Things are falling apart.
Yes, I think we should rightly say the relationship between NBA and the former leadership of SPIDEL.
The former leadership,
yes, because the leadership has been deposed, and until further notice, of course, they remain deposed. Because if they are the NBA NEC, which is the authority that controls and supervises SPIDEL, if it has taken a decision removing the leadership and replacing them with a caretaker committee pending when elections will be conducted, the right thing to say is between NBA and the former leadership of SPIDEL, because SPIDEL has a current leadership under the caretaker committee, and they don't have any rift with the leadership of the NBA because they know what public interest entails, and public interest cannot go against respect for authority.
And that's because the NBA controls SPIDEL, right?
It's not as if the NBA controls SPIDEL, but NBA supervises SPIDEL, directs SPIDEL, because SPIDEL is an arm of the NBA.
Okay, let's use the words. I can see you with the choice of words now. Direct SPIDEL.
Yes.
Yes.
It's just like the Arise television, for example. It has sections, it has departments under the leadership of one head.
Oh, yeah.
So every head submits to the higher authority within the organization. So they are not supposed to speak, they are not supposed to be at loggerheads with one another. They are not supposed to be maybe disunited. SPIDEL cannot work on a part that is different from the part being worked by the NBA.
This suspended leadership, just like you said, by NEC, says that you're subjugating and, probably interfering in a matter that is already in court. That is some human rights cases and the rest, and that the purported dissolution of the leadership of SPIDEL is not justiciable.
Okay, coming to the allegation by the removed leadership of SPIDEL that the leadership of the NBA is interfering with matters that are already in court. Now, the question to ask is to look at the constitution of the NBA. If we go to the NBA Constitution section 9, subsection 5, you would see that the NBA president directs SPIDEL, and then if you go to section 17, subsection 4, the NBA-SPIDEL has no competence to take any action or to represent the NBA or to purport to represent the NBA without prior authorization of the leadership of the NBA. If you go to even the bylaw of the organization in the third schedule, it says the leadership of the SPIDEL cannot take any decision or take any action on behalf of the NBA or in the name of the NBA without a specific authorization of the NBA NEC or the NBA president. So it is if an action is, if you don't have any authority to take a particular action and you have taken that action, the question becomes, the person on behalf of whom you have taken the action, can he come out and say, this action you have taken was not taken on my behalf because you purported to have taken it on my behalf, and therefore I did not decide to take this action. And
even if the matter is in court,
yes,
like SPIDEL is claiming.
Sir, remember that a matter that is in court can be withdrawn.
Yeah.
The person who files the matter in court has the power or the right to withdraw the matter.
Has the matter been withdrawn?
It has not been withdrawn, but that was one of the directives.
Would that not be sub judice? You are a lawyer and you are a law teacher.
I'm a law teacher, yes.
Yes.
No, it's not about sub judice.
How do you reconcile this?
No, every party, sir, every party reconciling it, every party to a suit, or every person interested, or every person that may be affected by a suit in court has the right to make an application to the court to protect his interest.
Has the NBA done that?
NBA, I think on 14, I learned from my investigation that on 14 March 2024, the judge, Somoto, on his own, directed that the NBA president should set up a legal team to appear before the court, to come and address the court on whether NBA-SPIDEL has the competence to commence the action it has commenced. In one of those two, I think the suit against the minister that was said to be serving, undertaking the NYSC while being a minister of the Republic. So the problem we have, sir, is there are many types of suits, civil suits in court, and the public needs to understand this.
Yeah.
There's what we call representative action. If I take an action as in my private capacity as Sylvester Edemezue, NBA has no business with it. But if I purport, if you as a newscaster or a member of staff of Arise News commence an action on behalf of Arise News, you are acting as an agent of Arise. That's called representative action. So the actions were commenced on behalf of the NBA, in the name of the NBA. And NBA is saying that we did not authorize these actions being commenced. We did not give prior approval for these actions to be commenced. Therefore, they ought not to have been commenced because the organization that commenced them or the segment of the NBA that commenced them had no power to act without prior authorization either of the NBA president or of the NBA National Executive Council. So it is an action that was taken without authority. Let me point out this to clarify this issue before the general public. NBA is not, the quarrel is not about the merit of the suits. It is not about the suit. So if they had applied for some authorization, it is possible that NBA may have also granted them the approval to go ahead and file some of those suits. But speaking on this, I would want to point out that both lawyers and members of the public need to be educated on what is actually meant by public interest. Because when people go about saying, oh, these are public interest suits that are working in the interest of the public, and NBA is trying to force us to withdraw the case from court. The question becomes, these cases, do they really serve the interests of the public? And that brings us to our jobs as lawyers. As lawyers, the court of law shouldn't be the first place to start resolution of disputes. And that is what NBA is trying to, a point NBA is trying to make. The court of law shouldn't be the first point to start resolution of disputes. All the famous lawyers all over the world, famous leaders all over the world have warned, justices all over the world have warned that we should make sure that we have tried alternative means of resolving disputes before resorting to court. That's number one. Number two is, if the Nigerian Bar Association, of course, is an organization that promotes human rights and defends the rights of citizens, but if the Nigerian Bar Association goes about threatening government agencies every day and filing cases in court every day, how do we expect that this is going to resolve most of the problems or challenges we face?
Very quickly, what's the way forward to resolving this crisis?
The way forward is for every member of the NBA, every officer of the NBA, to respect the rule of law, respect constitutionality, the NBA Constitution, and respect constitutional authority.
Thank you so very much, Sylvester Edemezue, lawyer and lecturer at the Nigerian Law School, for coming to shed more light on the NBA-SPIDEL imbroglio.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.